All right, Kasha, here we go. Just wanted to see as people are jumping on board, and I am about to get ready to share my screen. Let's give people a few minutes to jump on board. Here we go. Thanks for joining us, Bill and Kim. Got some more coming up, Vanessa. Again, Ramesh Fakori here, Vice President of IRA Club. Joined to my left, your right, is Kasha Macho. She is our senior, again, client relations manager, and we are here to discuss a topic that's actually near and dear to my heart. The reason why I bring all of this up to you is because when we do these free events, and we get very excited when we bring on investment opportunities and these experts in their respective fields, we get over 100+ people who register. But for some reason or another, when we start talking about kids and grandkids, for whatever reason, that registration cuts in half. But remember something, IRAs are built for the longevity, the long term, okay? It is for your retirement, but not only to take care of yourself, but possibly pass along a little bit of that wealth to your family members. But imagine if you could take care of your family and your child or your grandchild, if we have a couple of people here that are grandparents, that you could take care of them from as early as the day they're born. We're going to give you some examples of that. But in the meantime, before I pass it along to Kasha, I did make sure that everybody got this handout. Make sure that everybody at some point during this presentation opens it up. It is a great article called Rich Man, Poor Man by Richard Russell. It is not Rich Man, Poor Man by Robert Kiyosaki. So again, another great book. I highly recommend that everybody reads that if you haven't done so already. So again, make sure at the end, I'll give a quick breakdown of why I love this article, one of his better pieces. Again, let me go ahead and share my screen before I pass it along to Kasha. Give me 1 second. Here we go. And it'll pop up right off the bat. There we go. Okay, great. Got quite a few attendees still, and it's all yours, Kasha. So the importance of setting up a Roth IRA for your children and grandchildren. Without further ado.
Great, thanks so much, Ramesh.
Absolutely.
And just as a reminder, if for some reason you need to leave the webinar a little bit early, don't worry, we'll go ahead and email you the link to this presentation along with the slides a few hours after the presentation is done.
And also contact information. I always forget to mention that. Remember, if you can't go all the way through, besides the recording, all the contact information, everything that we talk about, the slides, you'll receive everything. So again.
Perfect. And also, if there's time, we'll open it up for Q&A. So if you do have a question that I did not cover, go ahead and jot it down, and we can hopefully answer your question at the end of the presentation.
Absolutely.
So great. So again, today we'll be discussing the importance of setting up a Roth IRA for either your children or your grandchildren.
Oh, let me click onto that. My apologies. I always forget to do this. And go ahead. That work? So,
yes, great. So just as a reminder, IRA Club does not provide tax, legal, or investment advice or endorse any products, services, or investments. All information material are for educational purposes only, and all parties are encouraged to consult their attorney, CPA, or financial advisor. So great, so minor accounts. When we're talking about minor accounts, we're talking about individuals who are age 17 and younger. Of course, you're more than welcome to set up an account for your child, whether they're in their 30s or 40s, but today we're really talking about kids and teenagers, so again, age 17 and younger. So with IRA Club, you can start an IRA for your child or grandchild and give them the gift of wealth, independence, and a peace of mind. So I'm a visual person. I'm not a huge fan of math, but I wanted to run a couple numbers. We have these great calculators on our website that Ramesh will show you in a few minutes, but I wanted to plug in some numbers and see, does it really matter when I start a Roth IRA? I mean, are we talking about a few $100s, a few $1,000s? What are the numbers like when I start my IRA, maybe at age 50, 30, 15, 10, and 5. So let's take a look at this. So the example here, we are putting in a contribution of $5,000, and let's say you are 50 years old and you say, you know what, I have a 401k at work, I'm going to start my own Roth on the side, which you can absolutely do, and I'll put in $5,000 in for the next 15 years. So over that course of time, your Roth IRA is going to be worth $174K. Again, $5,000 in contributions for 15 years. Let's say your investment is getting double-digit returns with 10% and a marginal tax rate of 24. So again, we can see that in the course of 15 years, your IRA grows to 174. Now let's take that same example, and let's say instead of starting your Roth account at age 50, you started at age 30. So let's see what that Roth will be worth at age 65. This is crazy, but it's going to be worth almost $1.5 million. So again, you're starting your Roth account at age 30, you're letting it grow income tax free. It's all that compound interest that's allowing your Roth account to grow to almost $1.5 million, again, income tax free because it's a Roth, taxes were already paid on it. So let's now go to age 15. So what do you guys think it's gonna be? It's gonna be $6.4 million. Again, if you were to start your Roth account at age 15, made annual contributions, invested that money in a great investment that's giving you double-digit returns. I mean, that is, that's a nice cushion. That's, living well, being able to travel and spoil your grandkids. So 6.4 million. And now, again, kind of, we'll do 10. So age 10 is 10 million. Again, that's, 55 years of growth. And then if you were to start your Roth IRA at age 5, it's going to be almost $17 million in the Roth IRA. Again, it's a Roth, income tax free, and yeah.
And just keep in mind, this is a simple $5,000. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If you start at the age of 5, this is what we're saying: the power of compounding, creating double-digit returns, whether it's the market or alternatives. The importance of starting early. That's what we're trying to show you.
Right. And again, with these Roth IRAs, you can also contribute to your 401k at work. So those contribution limits are separate from the Roth IRA. So again, we're just showing you the power of the Roth and how, again, the earlier you start, the better. So I wanted to do one more example. And instead of doing annual contributions, right, because we know sometimes not everyone is the best at making contributions, they forget, kind of life gets to them. So let's just say that you, again, started your Roth IRA at age 50. You put in $5,000 and you left it. You forgot about it, you invested it, but you didn't contribute any more out of your own pocket. So again, in 15 years, your Roth will be worth about $21,000. So again, that $5,000 magically turned into $20,000. Now let's take that same example and see what would happen if you started it at age 5. So let's say you're 5 years old, your Roth was started for you, whether it's a parent or grandparent, put $5,000 in there, no other contributions, just the power of compound interest, double-digit returns. What do you guys think it's going to be? So 1.5 million. So your $5,000 in that Roth IRA magically turned into 1.5 million. Again, it's been growing for 60 years. So again, just powerful numbers here with the compound interest. So now let's talk about the rules and regulations about contributions, who can contribute, how much we can contribute to these minor accounts. So the question is there an age limit for Roth IRA contributions? And the answer is no. So you can contribute to a Roth or a traditional at any age, 50, 60, 70, 80. And is there an age minimum for IRA contributions? Again, the answer is no. You could be 5 days old, 5 months old, you can contribute to a Roth IRA. In order to contribute to an IRA, the account owner must have a social security number and some sort of earned income. So what exactly is considered earned income? So if you take a look at the IRS website, you'll see a nice detailed list of what is considered earned income. So obviously salary, wages, tips, if you are driving Uber, if you have a store on Etsy and are selling products, all of those items count as earned income. Some things that do not count as earned income is going to be your dividends, pensions, annuities, Social Security, unemployment, alimony, and child support. So again, there's a nice detailed list on the IRS website, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of common sense of think W-2, 1099. So that is considered earned income. And now that we're talking about these minor accounts and earned income, one thing to point out is that we want to make sure that the work is age appropriate. So when I was 15, my first job was working at a plant nursery store. So I was a cashier, we watered plants, we rung up customers, we put up the Christmas trees, and it was really fun. So that was a age appropriate job for a 15-year-old. So that's one example of what I did. I had a lot of jobs. I walked dogs, I babysat. Oh gosh, always hustling.
Good for you.
So now let's take a look at some other examples. So let's say, your child isn't 15. Let's say they're a few months old or a few years old. Well, what sort of jobs can these kids do? And so think of marketing, social media, modeling. You have the Gerber baby, you have the Gap baby, right? Those are models. They're simply sitting there and smiling, and their image can be used for banners and websites and social media accounts. So those types of jobs are very common for babies and toddlers. Once the child becomes a little bit older, they could do administrative work, stamp envelopes, file documents, maybe work at a pool as a lifeguard and work at your local ice cream shop, different retail stores, work for landscaping companies. So again, these are age appropriate jobs for children and then teenagers. So now let's take a look at a couple different examples of how much can you contribute. So let's take a example at, for example, your daughter Kelsey. So she has a summer job at Dairy Queen, and she is saving up for a new car, so she is working her butt off all summer and makes $3,500 for those few months during the summertime. So the amount that can be put into Kelsey's Roth IRA is going to be $3,500. So she made $35,000 and she could put in 100% of her earned income into the Roth. Now that doesn't mean that all of Kelsey's hard-earned dollars are going into the Roth. You as a parent can write a check and contribute to the Roth, grandparent, aunt, uncle. So the funds can come from any source, but the point here is just to show that we cannot contribute more than $35,000 because Kelsey only made $3,500 this summer. Now let's take an example, take a look at Jake, your son. So let's say that your son has been working all year long, part-time, maybe for your company, and you've paid your son $12,399. The contribution limit for Roth is $6,000. So Jake would only be able to contribute up to $6,000, so no more. The reason that you might want to pay your son the $12,399 is because if Jake makes less than $12,400, there are no taxes to file. So we're keeping it below that minimum that we need to meet in order to file. So again, your company is paying Jake the $12,000, which is a great strategy. A lot of our clients do this. Very savvy investors have their own business. Again, they'll work with their CPA to get all this set up, but they will use funds from the business, take the deduction. The $6,000 goes into a Roth account where it grows income tax free. And again, it's a triple tax-free account.
That's the point. You just took the word right about. This is a triple tax savings. Ultra wealthy people use this who own companies, all right? A C Corp, for example, or pulling money out of their LLC to pay their child. These are great tactics and strategies that you could grow, not only save money on your end, but grow your son's retirement tax-free for their future. And time again, we see so many of our clients use this method. It is a great tool, and I highly recommend that you use it.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, make sure you're checking with your CPA, making sure everything is set up correctly. When it comes to minors, there's different laws in different states, so just double check with your CPA to make sure everything is structured correctly.
Correct.
Great. So now let's take a look at a couple different plans, because you're thinking probably to yourself, well, I've been focusing on college, right?
Yeah.
School education.
Yeah.
I've been putting my hard-earned money away into this college plan, such as the 529 or the Coverdell. So now we'll take a look at the differences between these accounts. And in an ideal world, one would contribute to all three. But again, you'll see maybe why the Roth IRA might be a good alternative for some people out there. So all three accounts, whether it's a 529 or a Coverdell or a Roth IRA, these are all tax advantage savings accounts. So that's a great thing. So the 529, you're limited with the investment. You're limited to mutual funds offered through the state program. The funds must be used for education. So God forbid you're putting all this money aside, and your son or daughter ends up not going to college, which is okay. Not everyone needs to go to college. But again, what are you going to do with those funds? You could transfer them to another person, sibling, or a niece, but that's a lot of money we're talking about. And if you maybe only have one child, what do you do with those funds? You can take them out, but then you'd be dinged with the penalty.
Yes.
So again, it's restricted in what the investment is and what the funds can be used for. The contribution limit is nice. It's 15,000, so that's a nice contribution limit. And there are no age restrictions on when you can use those funds. So if your son or daughter does take a year off to backpack in Europe, that's okay. They can use that later on. So, and there's also no income limit. So you can make a lot and still contribute to the 529. But again, it's limited in the investment type and what the funds are used for. The second account is going to be the Coverdell, and you will see some of these are self-directed. We actually used to open them up way back in the day, but then our clients realized that the Roth is more powerful. So you will see some that are self-directed, but again, most are limited to stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Once again, the funds must be used for education, and the contribution limit is pretty small. It's only $2,000. So, school's expensive, books are expensive.
I wonder why 2,000.
So it's gonna, the contribution limit will help a little bit, but probably not, you won't be able to pay for everything. And again, there is, it's tax advantage, but the funds must be used before age 30. So there's a little bit of pressure on when those funds are used. And there is a income limit. So if you make too much, you are not able to contribute to the Coverdell. And then thirdly, Roth IRA. So a Roth IRA is designed for retirement. IRA stands for individual retirement account, but the Roth is nice because it does sort of give you that that cushion to be able to use those funds for different things. So again, alternative investments, we can use it for real estate, syndications, life settlements, private LLCs, obviously stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So the Roth IRA investments are very versatile. The funds can obviously be used for retirement, but you can also use the funds for education, high medical bills, childbirth, adoption, and you can take the funds out if you are a first-time home buyer. So again, retirement is the goal, but if needed, you could take the funds out to use for different scenarios.
Penalty free, by the way.
Yeah, no 10% penalty in those examples. And then the contribution limit is pretty good, $6,000 a year. It's a lot more than the Coverdell. And one other thing I really like is the funds do not have to be used by a certain age. They can be passed down to the beneficiary. There is no RMD in a Roth, so those funds can continue to grow and they don't need to be taken out. And as I mentioned earlier, one must have earned income in order to contribute to the Roth IRA. So now let's talk a little bit more about taking those funds out. So as Ram has just said, there's no 10% early distribution fee if you take the funds out for high medical bills, education, first-time home buyer, childbirth, adoption. There's nice examples on the IRS website, so definitely check that out. And you also want to make sure that the Roth IRA has been set up for at least 5 years. There's something called a 5-year Roth rule. So again, another great benefit of starting these accounts today is that 5-year Roth timer starts.
Yep.
Great. So now that we've talked about making the contributions, the point of all this is to invest the funds. We saw in the examples earlier, it's not so much the contribution, it's what you do with those funds. It's putting those funds to use with a double-digit return, and that's what's really going to grow that Roth IRA. So in this example, we're going to talk about partnering. Let's say you find a great investment for 100K. Your IRA has $85,000 of investable income. And let's say your child's IRA has about $15,000 of investable income. So as you could see, the equation is going to be 85%, 15%. 85% is owned by your IRA. 15% of the investment is owned by your child's IRA. And so that together is going to equal 100K.
So the point that Kasha is trying to make is the importance of getting your family involved in these transactions. And the younger that they are, the faster it grows, the more you can maximize the opportunities, the IRAs. And again, they could use it for other things. It just doesn't have to be for, again, retirement purposes, for higher education, medical bills, first-time home buyers. So again, you're setting up your kid or grandchild for success even early on. So you have these opportunities in front of you. Very important to get your family involved. That's the point of partnering, even if it's such a small amount, as little as 5,000. Partner your kids with your investment opportunities. That's the point of this.
And yeah, the percentage of ownership is small, but we have so much time ahead of us that this IRA is able to grow. It's a Roth, so
still growing double-digit returns. That's what the goal is. Still growing double-digit returns. The funds that are coming in are still in double digits. That's the point.
And so the rule of thumb is percentage in, percentage out. So the IRAs are responsible for expenses, and then they will obviously receive profit. But again, whatever the percentage is, it must stay that way. And so again, as Ram has mentioned, the importance of getting started. Check out Investors Row. If you go to our website, iraclub.org, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little link that says Investors Row. And this is a platform that will allow you to take a look at different investment categories. You're able to review some of these investment providers and see what they offer. And some of these, as Ram has mentioned, are these investments start as little as $5,000.
So, yep.
Perfect.
There are opportunities.
And so the process is simple. Number one, we would open up the Roth IRA by having you fill out an application. Again, we're talking about minor accounts. So age 17 and younger, you would go ahead and fill out that application for your child or grandchild. Contributions can be done either via check, wire, credit card. The minimum that we require for our accounts is $500. So the $500 is the account owners. That's just our minimum that we require to start the IRA. Okay. And then I have seen a few transfers. So there are some folks that have set up IRAs for their kids at a TD Ameritrade or a Vanguard. So, great job for those that have done that. And so, yes, you can transfer those funds over if you've already set up a minor account for your child or grandchild, but majority will be contributions. And then number 3 would be to invest. As we just said, it's just, it's important to start the account, but it's even more important to invest those funds. So perform your due diligence, run the numbers, complete an investment direction form. And then again, if you're partnering, so if your IRA is partnering with your child's IRA, it's just important that we list all the entities on all the documents so we know what percentage of ownership goes where. All right, and then just a few more slides. Again, hopefully, we've answered all of your questions. Ramas is also going to take a deep dive into a specific example. And then we also have a great offer for you guys, so just stay tuned a few more minutes. So one of the questions we get is, what happens to the account once the minor becomes an adult. So either age 18 or 21, it depends on the state, but nothing really happens. You know, the asset stays in the account, the cash stays in the account. What happens next is any sort of information regarding the account will have to be communicated through the account owner. So one way that you could continue to be involved is to have your 18 or 21-year-old fill out something called a third-party access form, and that third-party access form will grant you permission to continue to discuss the account. So that's a great way to be, continue to be part of this conversation. And this is it's a great opportunity to just teach your children, say, look, here's your Roth. Yeah.
I mean, listen, at 18, 19, 20 years old, they're not there just yet. You're trying to teach them. So my recommendation, and this is just a recommendation, is yes, to make sure that you do get your child to fill out the third-party access form, because you still want some sort of control to be able to guide them in the right direction. That's the point of it, all right? Until they're old enough where they figured it out, where you've educated them enough to understand the whole power of the Roth, the self-directing side of it. That's the point. Not that we want, you don't want to hand the keys to a Ferrari, all right? And they don't know how to drive the thing. That's the point. So we don't want them to make mistakes, prohibited transactions, things of that nature. So again, highly recommend that you do that. At the end of the day, that's up to you.
And then the second question we often get is, what type of fees do these minor accounts pay? Again, for those who are age 17 and younger, we charge our annual membership, which is $175, and no other fees. So we understand the importance of leaving that cash in there, investing that cash. We're not trying to ding these accounts with fees. So we want your children's accounts to be successful. And so again, these accounts are not paying any wire fees, no asset fees, just simply $175 a year to have that account within the IRA if that account partners with your account.
So again, remember, that includes the asset fee. That's together. So the membership and the asset.
Perfect. Okay.
And then, so I know you're going to pass this along to me right now, Kash. So one of the things that before we give an example of IRA Club member, okay, who happens to be Ava Marie Fakori, I made sure that I downloaded this to everybody. I'm sorry, I make sure that everybody looks at the downloadable file that I have of Rich Man, Poor Man by Richard Russell. The reason why actually I am going to step away outside of this and kind of showcase this first, because this is really, really interesting. Give me 1 second. So he goes over and talks about, forgive me as this is in my face. He goes over and talks about the power of compounding, the importance of getting started early. He talks about Einstein's methods, why, forgive me, my God, Bill Gates says that this is one of the most underutilized tools, and that's something that actually Dennis Blitz also talks about. And for some reason or another, we don't understand why that is, okay? There's a great example in this article, again, only 8 pages long, highly recommend you read it, of somebody who started, there's investor A, investor B, okay? They're using simple math, started at the age of 18 years old and was putting in $2,000, okay? Up until he was 25 years old, okay? And he never contributed a dollar after the age of 26, going the full way down. Versus someone who just started at the age of 26, same amount of contribution, $2,000, but all the way until he was 65. Take a look at these numbers. So someone who started at the age of 18 only contributed 14,000 versus that person that started at age 26 had to contribute up to 80. And that person that started at the age of 18 still beat that person who started at 26 by closer to almost $1 million. That is a scary, scary fact. The importance of why you should get started, or get your child or grandchild or anybody that you know to get started that early. A simple $14,000 almost made $1 million at the age of 65. And that was at 10% returns, all right? And I will tell you from now, and and again, we don't vet any company. We don't offer any investment opportunity. The actual investment itself, that is the point of self-directed IRAs. We're trying to get you to think outside of the box, diversification, things outside of the market. Inflation is here. Taxes are going in one direction, up. And that's the point of all of this, okay? So leading back to this beautiful girl, her name is Ava Marie Fakori. She is the youngest IRA club member at the age of 27 years old. Sorry, 27 days. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, 27. She's a great looking 27-year-old. But no, she's 27 years old, and I'm not sure if you happen to see the last name Fakori. She also happens to be my daughter. All right, 27 years old. Days. Why do I keep saying days, days, days? My apologies. Youngest IRA club member. This is the point that I'm trying to make to you. To Kasha's point, better yet, an age appropriate job description. All right. This is the first person to actually contribute to her Roth IRA is Dennis Blitz, president of our company, who has her up on marketing material for IRA Club. All right. I actually put the rest in at 5,000. So she has 6,000 in total. All right. But I do this through that ninja strategy that Kasha was talking about, through my company. Most people that are listening to this probably don't know this about me, but I also do own bars and restaurants. I do own real estate. And through Amanda Enterprises, I actually contribute to Ava Marie's Roth IRA at 27 days old. And that's the reason why I want to showcase this to you. So if you go to the IRA Club website, iraclub.org, as you guys, most of you guys are our clients. And if day one, okay, I'm sorry, year one, 6,000, and I don't contribute $1 after that, her IRA would be worth 4.8 million. At $6,000, 27 days old, and I never did anything after that. The only thing is I found an investment, which happens to, believe it or not, on Investors Row for 12%. And I partnered her with myself to get those returns at 12%, assuming at the 29% tax bracket, okay? That's the average person, including federal and state. But this is where I wanted to get everyone's point of attention. Now, the person who actually, I did this myself at 6,000 for my daughter, okay? My father, okay, believe it or not every single person can contribute 6,000 every single year. All right, and I understand that because everyone's circumstances are different from the next. But my father and mother give every single one of their grandkids, the day that they're born, this strategy. They contribute $6,000 to their IRA the first year. And my sisters, okay, only contribute $100 a month. That's it, $100 a month moving forward for the rest until they're 59 and a half. And they would actually have to continue that on their own once they have a job, a stable job. But you're talking about $1,200. So $1,200 contribution, year one. You could pull the funds out at 59 and a half. Very easy to find returns on investment for 12%, assuming at 29% tax bracket. That is $13 million, almost $14 million tax-free. $100 a month. If you could afford to do that, this is what it's all about, is taking care of not just yourself, but your family. $1,200 a year. You're setting up your kid for life. So when you're dead and gone, you have no worries, you have peace of mind, you're going to bed, and you know that your family's taken care of. This is the power of compounding, the power of double-digit returns, the power of alternative investing. It's okay to have a portion of that in the market. I still do myself. So again, diversification is the key to all of this. 14 million. Can you imagine if you were able to contribute $6,000, which I am going to do my best to keep that going every single year, $6,000 a year, the full contribution, you're maxing it out, $50 million. All you got to do is find the investment. That's the power of this whole reason why we do this, is to educate, give strategies. And I just want people to really, really consider this. That's the reason why Kasha said, we need to get people more aware of it, and we need people to act. And my best piece of advice to her was like, listen, if we want to get our clients to invest in their families and their futures, we'll just give you the IRA account for the first year. Start the process with them. Just get them to partner with you and just see the growth. All right, that's the point. I understand 5,000, 6,000 isn't that much, but to this man's point, to what we're educating you about, that is the importance of why you should and not. And this is what the ultra wealthy people do. The day their kids are born, that's the first thing that they do. $50 million. That's a staggering number. Tax-free, by the way. So again, I'm going to open it up for a little bit of Q&A. You guys are going to get all of our contact information. I'm going to open up and unmute everybody. Anybody who is willing and eager and not shy, because I'm shy, feel free, or you could raise your hands also. Yep, I see a couple of them popping up. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. You know what? This is better. Here we go. Question. You need to sleep.
27 years old.
27
days.
27 days. Yes, I need to sleep. So to your point, sleep deprivation is a real thing. I'm really, I haven't, since the day she's 6 months old now. So I would say I haven't slept a full 8 hours in 6 months. It's been a while, both me and my wife. But yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me know I have bags underneath my eyes. And any other questions? Forever hold your peace. Don't be shy.
I have a question.
Yes, there we go, Kim.
Hi, Ramas. Thank you for the picture of beautiful Ava.
Thank you.
Delivered as promised. I do have a quick question.
Yes.
I got that there were no fees for under 17 other than the 175 annual fee. And
Yes,
as we talked about last weekend, Jason just turned 18. So I was just curious of the fee structure for him over 18. Is it the basic, the annual fee plus any real estate fees plus the expense report?
Yeah, so at this point,
reimbursement fee. Got it.
Yes, so at this point, he is considered an adult, right? The point of this presentation is to get your kids involved before 18, but it's okay. As I showed you, this gentleman started at the age of 18, and if you simply put $2,000 for the next, I think it was 7 years at 14,000, and tell him don't do anything else, he'll still make $1 million. Now is the time for him, especially for him, to get started right now, more than ever. So, and to your other child, who I believe was 15 or 16, if I remember, your daughter, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, another son, 16. Yes.
Sorry, I remember there was somebody
no problem.
who was 16. So, yeah, you want him to one of two things. Get him to partner up with one of your deals. I already know where you're going with this because we already had this conversation before. Looking at double-digit returns again. The only thing I would recommend that you do is once he turns 18 is to get him to sign that third-party access, so you can still have some sort of control. All right, you want that because he's not ready to basically manage his own account.
And for the 18-year-old, so you're looking at a 175 for the account and then 165 for the asset. So it's about $340 a year to have one asset within the IRA versus if someone is 17 and younger, it'd be 175.
Yeah, and in your case, it's 165, just an FYI, because I already know what you're looking into, which is real estate, a hard tangible asset. So rental income, if it's outside of that, it's 125. So anything outside of real estate, rental income, it's 125, just an FYI.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome, absolutely. Any other questions? Let me go ahead and take a look at the chat bar.
Ramesh, I missed this is Sahana here.
Hi.
I am a new client of yours, but I think, I was meant to be here. So I have 3 daughters and I'm probably going to open up an account for all of them. And you said the 6,000 I can only contribute after I pay for them from my corporation, right? I just can't, like you said, your parents contribute when your kid's born. Yes. Are they contributing from their corporation or just
That's one way to do
That's
it.
one that,
Yeah.
but yes, to answer your question, it is yes. So my father owns a lot of real estate, has a lot of LLCs, sets it up as a C corp, and whenever he does contribute, he uses it as a deduction. So and he gets them to again, the same things that I'm doing with Ava, take pictures, just make sure it's age appropriate. And truth be told, the IRS is not going to hassle you over this because they want they want you to do this. They're trying to relieve pressure off of all these broken systems that we have, starting with Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. These government programs, I'm not even sure if they're going to be around when they're 60 years old, let alone, because listen, at no $2.2 trillion, which is dished out from the US government to keep these government programs afloat. They can't continue, they can't sustain that, is what I'm trying to get at. So a lot of changes are going to have to be made at some point. With Social Security, they're already talking about raising taxes, correct? And then they're talking about either raising the age, okay, what that is, we don't know, but from like say 65 to 70, or they're talking about reducing the amount that you're going to receive. So the average person's making $1,500 after taxes. It's like 12, a little under that, depending what tax bracket you fall into. But you can't afford to live like that anyways. You have to be able to create income outside of that, all right? However you do it, create your own pension. And what better way to do that for your kids than getting them started at now?
And just to clarify, one does not need to have their own business to pay their kids. That's just a strategy that a lot of folks do that have their own business. Yes. You could have a regular job, and then your son or daughter can have their regular job working, again, at that ice cream store. You can still contribute. It does not have to come from the business. But again, that's just a strategy that those that have businesses use. So again, you don't have to have the business contribute, but if you are able to, you should look into that.
And just make sure you talk to your CPA. Okay, make sure
it's a write-off. It's a write-off if it comes from the business. Otherwise, it's just a contribution you're making towards your family.
Right. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
I got somebody who just raised their hand. Who's this? Oh,
So yes, we will, again, everything will be emailed to you. So about an hour after we're done with this presentation, you'll receive an email with the link, again, so you can rewatch it, share it with your friends and family. But the presentation, the slides, all of that information will be emailed to you within an hour or two.
And also keep in mind, if you guys are looking to open up an account, I highly recommend just to get a hold of Kasha.
Put up the slideshow or the
let me
PowerPoint.
Pop that up real quick.
And then again, as Ram has mentioned, we really want you to start start thinking about your family's future. So again, for anyone that opens up a minor account until the end of August, we're going to go ahead and waive that setup fee. So the $175 we will waive. Again, if you're going to start an account for your child or your grandchild, we just want to make sure it's funded, but we want to get you, started off right. And so we're going to waive the $175 until the end of August 31st. So just let us know that you, listen to the webinar, and we'll go ahead and waive that $175.
Any other questions, guys, as we, Yep. All right.
I had a quick one. You did mention the tax rate. But at the Roth, it shouldn't matter, right? In the last one, I don't know why you mentioned the 29% tax.
No, it was showing you. So it was showing you an example. Okay, so it was showing you an example of 29%. So the majority of Americans are between the 22 and 24% tax bracket. The reason why I'm saying 29 is the average state income tax in the United States. And I understand some of you are from Texas or Florida where you don't pay anything, but here we pay 7 because we're in Illinois versus say California, 13.3. So the reason why I bring that up to you is the savings that you would have. So it's an extra 10.1 million. Yeah, so it really adds up. Instead of him losing that 10 million, he would keep that 10 million. Or my daughter better yet, the 27-year-old, I'm kidding, 27. So yeah, that's the point of that. So that was just showing you the savings on that end. All right, guys, it was a pleasure. I hope everybody got something educational. Again, we host webinars all month long. Some are more geared towards our clients, all right, and some are geared towards investors, and we bring on some great experts in their respective fields to, again, talk about things that we can't really talk about. So that is the goal, is to get the word out, and I'm happy that you guys are here. You guys have a great rest of your day and rest of the week.
Thank you so much.
Take
Looking
care,
forward
guys.
to setting up your accounts for your kids and grandkids.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.